global warming, extinction of species, and possible nuclear winter. Firstly, of course, one's deepest condolences to Quebec and Canada, of course, and also all the other spots in the world where so-called terrorism has happened. And if we may point out, this insanity, which is not anymore terrorism, it's just insanity, is not in any way limited to brown people or Muslims. Please understand that. Then to France, I understand that now during this week, after this week, Benoît Hamon is the left-wing candidate in the president race, and as far as one has done some reading, I mean, he would seem to be the obvious choice, the only choice so far, worth voting for in the French presidential election. And as far as one understands, he has no chance. So again, what can possibly make voters all over the Western world so damned stupid it is an eternal question, to be quite honest. Then, of course, to our great brother across the sea, for what it's worth, I don't think it's worth much. Nice idea, but probably too late. But vote for you anyway. Then it was I understand that the Cal-Exit campaign has actually gotten some wind in its sails, and it is an interesting idea, of course, considering how totally different people are, and that's pretty much the idea of my rant today. In a way, it is. Firstly, if I were United Station, at the present moment, I would simply immigrate. But otherwise, I mean, for the longest time, there would be people that I would have nothing in common with, and I really don't understand how you're supposed to deal with that. I mean, again, breaking up of the union would, to my mind, be a totally reasonable contingency at the moment. Again, in the same way that it has to be the way in Europe, even though we're going to the totally wrong directions at the moment. By the way, a joke. A political joke. I don't know if anyone has ever made this. I hope I'm the first one. But I mean, why has there been no discussion about Finland leaving the European Union? Well, it's because the political nickname Fix-It would be way too close for comfort. Anyway, I think it was Tom Hartman who said that, when one of his longtime friends was just chucking it in and moving to Mexico, that he likes to, stay there and fight, for United States, Canada, and so on. And one, again, as a slight joke, one just has to ask, considering what's been happening the last 40 years or so, one would have to ask Tom Hartman, how has that, staying there and fighting, how has that been working for you? Anyway, world, still glad to be here. We're all still here. Let's see how long that'll stand. World news. New data shows 85% of humans live under corrupt government. News Atlas and reporting, and I mean, this is about the, I guess it's yearly reporting that comes from certain instances. And I have to say that, again, it would be nice if most people in the world would actually know maths. These are awful figures. And one has to also point out, Finland is, number 3 in the world when it comes to, not having corruption, in lack of corruption, Norway and New Zealand are tied first, and then comes Finland. And I have to say that this number where they clearly come up with, 85% of humans live under corruption, it actually doesn't count in this certain certain kind of political corruption, where, for example, Finland swims in it. So the real number is probably actually 100%. People of the world, ordinary citizens, really should wake up. Nigeria is seizing back one of Africa's richest oil blocks and will prosecute petroleum giants Shell and Eni in a 1.2 billion corruption scandal, according to court documents released on Thursday. This is from The Independent, taking it with a grain of salt. Again, if true and so on, really positive things are happening in Nigeria at the moment. Court ruling stands. US has no right to seize data from world servers, asks Technica reporting. It should stand, and let's see how that'll go. North Korean elite is turning against Kim Jong-un, says a defector. This is from the headline is from The Guardian, but a lot of there's been a lot of talk about this, and it would be interesting if things were finally coming to head in North Korea. Interesting. Then again, lots of talk about this. This is from Suckby Relayed Media. Dutch government wants to counter Trump with abortion funds, and I think Belgium immediately offered its support, and I hope everybody else will also. This kind of action is good. EU report accuses Israel of systematic killing in Gaza. Ynet News reporting. Good. That would be an accurate report. As Fords continue to catch fire in South Africa, vehicles are recalled but no refund offered. Ford claims purchase agreement voids Consumer Protection Act. Also claims a burning death was unrelated to this issue. This is Times Live South Africa reporting. Again, it would be important for everybody to understand what TPPs and TTIPs are all about. Purchase agreement voiding Consumer Protection Act. That's an interesting thought. Germany to abolish law on insulting foreign heads of states. Miami Herald reporting. Again, hopefully true. It was about the bloody time. Then again, a nice jokey news. Berlin mayor to Donald Trump. Don't build this wall. The Guardian reporting. Hopefully this is true, because again, if you don't know any history, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. This is funny. Then I guess this is this is at least the second important news of everything during the last week, and things have been happening so fast. But it's this situation with South Dakota, and politicians simply not following a direct democratic order from the people they're supposed to be representing under any possible democratic system or law. When this first came out, I know some South Dakotans somewhere, in some discussion said that, give South Dakotans time, they'll react. Well, we really are waiting. This, I feel, South Dakota will now be a test for the entire Western world, possibly the entire mankind. If South Dakotans will not now stand up for their democracy at this point, if they simply will not rise up and make this go differently than it is at the moment, I say it's game over for mankind, truly. This is it. Anyway, Russia Parliament votes 380 to 3 to decriminalize domestic violence. This is from USA Today, but of course everybody's been reporting on it, and this has been a big thing. And there are some elements of propaganda with this reporting. I'll return to that. After Trump and Brexit, Germany urges the EU to speed trade deals with a dozen or more countries, mainly in Asia, including China, India, and Japan, Reuters reporting. Yes, I'm pretty sure Germany would be pressuring everybody, please, to have more trade deals. Yes. Iran's President Rouhani. Today is not the time of wall raising between nations. This is Tribune reporting, and it is highly interesting when the Iranian president sounds way more reasonable than the US president. The world is in trouble. Then more actually from Tribune and then Al Arabiya English, and there has been lots of rumors and lots of comments on it, but that news is spreading that Bashar al-Assad has suffered a stroke. Now, which would be interesting after all this crap. But even more funny of all these rumors is that al-Assad would be in treatment in Beirut at the American University Hospital. Again, after all this death and tragedy, that would be rather amusing, wouldn't it? Scientists have confirmed a brand new form of matter, time crystals. Science Alert reporting. Again, all cool and fine, except that could we have less dramatic names, please? So, it's going to be part 2, because I didn't actually get to my rant yet with all these news.